In the fall of 2018, the town of Paradise, California was engulfed in a raging wildfire. The Netflix documentary Fire in Paradise takes a look at what went on in those harrowing moments. I live in Northern California, about an hour and a half away from where the fires were going on. And I remember that even at that distance, Sacramento was filled with smoke. I mean, you could smell it in everything. A lot of businesses were shutting down because it was just so thick. That's how large of a fire this was, and the smoke spread that far away. Now, other parts of the country have tornado season or hurricane season. In California, we have winter, spring, summer, and fire. The Camp Fire, as it was called, was the deadliest fire in the United States in over a century. It burned something like 240 square miles. I mean, that is insane. And it burned for over 3 weeks. But the main part, the part that got to Paradise, happened in a matter of hours. That's how quickly it spread. And it was just awesome and heartbreaking all at the same time. Not awesome as in good, but awesome in the true sense of the word, where it was awe-inspiring, where your mouth is open, just like, oh my gosh. Especially in the documentary as they show you the map. And you get the 911 operators and the phone calls that are coming in, and they play it along with the time. And as the time just clicks by, and it's not like, 7:25 a.m., 9:30 a.m., 2:15 p.m. No, it's minutes. And as it begins to ramp up even more and the fire jumps, and all of a sudden you get phone calls from other parts where there wasn't a fire before, because the high winds are also contributing to the spread of this. In addition to the 911 dispatchers and the audio that comes from that, we get interviews from firefighters, from police officers, from teachers, and just regular residents of Paradise. We get to know what they had to go through, and you combine that then with cell phone footage and body cam footage and car mounted footage, and even some news footage too, and you just, oh my gosh, those people who had to escape, it was literally like driving through hell. I like how the documentary painted what was going on, how the events unfolded, and just the urgency and the devastation that happened. But it's really a short documentary. I think it's about 40 minutes long. And the downside to such a short documentary is that we don't get to see what's on the other side. They touch barely on the aftermath. And we're a year out now from this tragedy. And really, I think that they could have spent more time to interview the families, to see where they're at, to talk with more of the police officers, more of the firefighters, anything to really get a better sense of how things are being rebuilt. Is there hope now? Is the town of Paradise coming back alive? And we don't really get that sense, because it felt almost like they were just rushing to get this out. Like they had to be first. Like, okay, we've got all of this footage from before. Let's put it together and we'll slap a tiny little ending on there of maybe, some wrap up here of like, well, okay, the fire's out and here you go, boom. But it feels unfinished. It doesn't feel like it has the depth that it really could. We get all of this harrowing desperation and devastation and just the violence of the fire. And then we get to see the aftermath of the fire itself, but it kind of leaves us hopeless, because we don't get to see rebuilding. We don't get to see the community coming back together and starting anew, if it is. Because I live in Northern California and so close to Paradise, it was interesting for me to watch, and I enjoyed seeing it. But I'm also curious at how others outside of California even perceive this. Do you care? I don't know. There's no sex or nudity, there is profanity, and there is violent, grisly images. I mean, you just need to know that going in. Some of the aftermath of what they show, and then just even the violence of the fire itself. I give Fire in Paradise 3 out of 5 couches. So if you live in California, are you affected by wildfires? And if you live outside of California, do you even care? Seriously, I ask that in true seriousness. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for catching with me.